In this video, I'm going to show you how to create groups and channels for your students. So I'm in Thinglink. You log in, and if you go up toward the top, you see the different tabs up there. If you click on Me, those are all of your images that you have. But if you go to the right, you should have something that says Students. So if you click on that, basically this is where you can add your groups. Okay, now I already had a group created in here for AP Calc, but you should automatically have another group created, a general group, but specifically you may want to name it to your class or your block. So let's say I wanted to create a new group and I wanted to call this something like, I'm going to do this as Algebra 2 block 3, okay? And I create the group. So once I create a group, what will happen is there will be, again, it's in the Students tab, there will be a spot where it has Manage Groups and Register Students, okay? The best way to have students join the group that you now created is to simply, if you click on Manage Group, there will be a invite code. Okay, it's right up here toward the top. This invite code will stay the same until you actually reset the code. So you would write this code down, and then students would simply type that into their Thinglink account, and then they would be added to your group. Okay, so you write down this code that we have, like mine's Y5SFTC. I'm just going to copy this just for my purposes right here. You'll notice that automatically as a teacher you will be part of that group. Okay. Now let me go back to the Me again so we can kind of navigate this system. Remember, the groups are in the Students. Okay, so now I see my new group that I just created down here. There's only one member, that's just me. But let's suppose now that I wanted to add somebody to this group. Okay, remember I had that invite code, which I found through the Manage Group piece. Okay, it stays the same. For the students, when they're in there and they want to add to your group, they have to click on their account button toward the top, and there's an option down here for groups. Okay, once they've done that, then they can type in their invite code. So they would type in their code just like I did right now. Now I'm already in the group, so I'm not sure if it'll let me join, but I'll hit join the group. Now I'm already in the group, so it's not going to let me actually join to that group itself, but that's how they would join your group, and it would populate in that group itself. Okay, so that's how to create the groups themselves. You can create as many groups as you want, and you can divide it up into blocks. You can do it in a class, however you want to do it. Then your next step would be to actually create channels if you wanted to inside your groups. Okay, this is where it gets a little tricky. But in my account, okay, so if I go to my account tab, I can then log into that specific group that I want to create a channel in. So I just created a new group called Algebra 2 Block 3. Now there really aren't any students in here, but if I wanted to create a channel in there, I would select that group and I would log in. Now you already are logged into Thinglink, so what this is doing is it's putting you into that group. So I hit login. Now you'll notice that I'm in Algebra 2 Block 3. I can click Channel, and I can create a channel here. So let's say I click a channel and I call this linear equations. Then I would have a new channel called linear equations. I could create another channel called functions, and then I could create another channel called quadratics. Now all of these channels are being created in the Algebra 2 Block 3 group. So this has already been done. Okay. Now the tricky part about this is that is how to navigate back to where I was at the beginning. Okay. Now see, if I hit me, nothing happens. I'm just in Algebra 2 Block 3. I can click on my channels, and my channels are still there. So they're available for students to add to the channels. The trick here is to go back and click on the Account tab, and you need to log out. Now you're not logging out of Thinglink entirely, you're just logging out of that group. So you click the log out key, and now if I click on me, I'm back to my original situation, okay, my original account. If I then click on students again, notice in my, and now it's not showing up here yet because of the, I don't have any members, but in the actual group of Algebra 2 Block 3, I would have channels once students are populated in there, okay? So again, to go back into that class or that group, I go to my account, and then I would go into log in Algebra 2 Block 3, and that's where I would see my channels. Okay. Now the next thing is that when you want students to add their images to the specific channels, basically all they would do. Okay, now I'm going to log out of here just to show you what this would look like. I'm going to log out of that group again. I go back to me. I'm just going to take some random image that I have here. So I click on this image. There is, now this is a very small image right here, but toward the bottom it says add to channel. That should show up when the students are done with their image. Then they can select the channel that they are members of. Now because I'm a teacher, I am a member of every channel that I have created. Okay, so I could add it to the linear equations channel, and I could be done. So I click add to channel, and let's add it to the functions as well. This is what the students would do to add their images to the actual channel. So they hit done. Okay, now let's say I wanted to go back to that channel. If I go back into students, and I look at the account Algebra 2 Block 3 channels, there you can see that I added my own images to that channel. Okay. If I went, I'll just show you in AP Calc. If I go into AP Calc and I go into my channel, this is one that's been already, there's two blocks, there's block 3 and block 4, but once you populate it, you'll be able to see all the images that have been added, and then you can at that time view it as a slideshow if you'd like, or students can view it as a slideshow as well, or they can go back to viewing it as an image list, so they could see it as a list as well. Now the one last thing to make a point of is that when they are creating the actual images, if you want them to be able to share it in a channel in your group, then the image needs to be a public image. Okay, so let me just show you. I'll show you in a bigger image here that I have. Let's say I have this example that I was working on, I have to go to the edit sharing settings, and it has to be public in order for them to be able to see it in a channel in a group. Okay, you don't want anyone to really allow them to edit it. Okay, but it has to be visible in the public to be able to see it in the actual channels. Otherwise, it won't work. Okay, if you don't like that idea, you make them unlisted, and then you would just have to have the links shared in a different way. So that is my take on groups and channels. If you have more questions, we can contact us and or me, and I'll be happy to help you out. Thanks.